Alrighty, superstars. So we have made a website of some favorite things. We styled it with CSS. We made some different pages. That's all beautiful. We have a home page button. We can do different things. My problem is that we don't know how to make things look really nice yet. We're going to start looking into something that's used very frequently in professional websites called a div tag. Div stands for divider. Really quickly, if I look up div memes, this is a funny one about what we're going to do today is, yo dog, I heard you like your div, so I put a div in your div so you can div while you div. There's a joke I've seen where if you look at the code, so I'm pulling up the code for this Google page, for most professional websites, you will find lots and lots of divs. So here I have a div for the footer, here I have a div, here I have a div. These are a bunch of scripts. These are a div for the oh, perfect, look. Here's a div for the main part of the page, and then it has a div inside of it, and this has a div inside of it with a div inside of it with a div inside of it. Script, we have a div here, and then this div has a div inside of it, which has a div inside of it, which has a div inside of it, which has a div inside of it, and then if I open up that div, I get a div, and then if I open up that divider, I get a divider, and then if I open up that divider, I get a divider, and if I open up that divider, I get a divider. This is how most modern web pages work. Some people make fun of it, some people think it's not the best, but I have just opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at the right side of my screen, this is the code for the page I'm currently on, and I have just opened, I've just opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 divs in a row, and I'm still going. Another div, and now a span, and then that span has a div inside of it, of course, which has a divider inside of it, which has a divider inside of it, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dividers inside of it. So these are all div tags. Maybe I can zoom in on this a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, just so we could see the div inside 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 the div. All of these dividers divide out our content. If I hover over these, we could see what they're separating. So these are dividers separating out these different contents, and then each of these little things, I call these div cards. Where my mouse is, I'm hovering these. So these are, in here, they're writing them as div roles. We're going to implement the same kind of thing slightly differently. But let's see, div role list item, if I open it up, and now it has the A tag to go to the link. But then inside of that A tag, that also has another div, which divides out some content inside of the tag, which has a span, which contains another div inside of the image, which contains another div. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 17 divs deep from the body just to get to all the way down on this element of this page. 17 dividers. We're not going to do that much, but I just want you guys to see how these divs are really used. They're used all over the place. It's the most common tag in a professional website is going to be this div tag. They're full of divs. We're going to make something called div cards. I'm going to go back to my website, and what I want to do, I hate the way this is laid out. It looks terrible. I'm going to change it so that each of these things, instead of being a list item, I'm going to make each of these a div card that contains 3 elements, an image, a title, and a paragraph, and each of those div cards will be in its own div called the div container. Let's look at that in HTML first, and then we'll do a little bit of work to style it. So I'm going to start with the div container. So inside of my body, so I'm opening up my first website. I'm going to my, this is called video games is this page. I'm going to open it on Visual Studios, and here's video games. Okay, so I'm in my body. I have my list. I'm going to, I'll do it above my list. I'll just recreate it above my list, and then I'll delete my list when I'm done. Okay, so I have my home button. I have my favorite video game franchises, and we're going to create our first div. This divider is going to contain all of our cards, and each of these is going to be a card. A card, as I said before, is going to hold the title, a paragraph, and an image. It'll look a lot nicer. We're going to call this div something so that the CSS can know how to style it. I'm going to write class equals card container. So this div will be for containing cards. Now I'm going to make my first card, and then we'll style it in CSS, and we'll see what that card looks like, and then we'll create some more cards for this card container. I'm going to create my first card inside of another div. This div is going to have the class card. A card and a card container are going to be two different dividers. The card container will contain a bunch of these cards. So maybe I have like 4 cards. And each of these cards will contain the card content. In our case, it's like I said, each card will have the name of the game, a picture of the game, and maybe a description. So I'll do an H3, and we'll do Elden Ring for this card. And we'll do, the AI gave me a perfect image, is that image with the Elden Ring logo.png that we were already using. Oh, no, we were using Elden Ring screenshot. That's the name of the file that is right here, Elden Ring screenshot. And then I need a p tag, so I'll say p, an epic RPG with a vast array of foes that is known for being very difficult. And just to test my divs, I'm actually going to copy this content, and I'm going to put this content into these other cards just to start looking at how they look. So I'm going to have 4 Elden Ring cards. I'll change out the content. You know, I could write, you know, instead of Elden Ring, let's write Call of Duty. We get the idea. I could change the pictures, change the thing. I just want to see what it looks like on my page. So I'm going to go back to my video game page, and I'm going to press refresh. Okay, so we have these cards. They don't really look good right now. They're not clearly separated. What I need to do is I need to first I need to get the images working correctly, but aside from that, I need to make it so that these cards are styled the way I want them to be. To do that, I'm going to write new style code in my CSS, and instead of styling specific tags or specific things, I'm going to style the card container, and I'm going to style the card. So let's do that now. I'm going to go to styles.css, and I'm going to create new things like this. I'm going to get rid of this div tag because I'm using divs slightly differently now. And I'm going to use .card container. And this will only affect divs that are class equals card container. So it'll only affect my one card container div. I'm going to write display. Display determines how things are laid out inside of this div. I'm going to lay them out in a grid. We could use flex for more flexibility in how we lay them out, but I'm going to just define it using a grid. I'm going to write grid template columns, and I'm going to let the AI autofill me. And this basically just creates some columns for my div. It repeats a bunch of columns. It's going to autofit them. That's great. If you ever are confused about what a certain property of a CSS class does, these properties, you can look them up on W3 Schools. But for now, you can just copy this card class. We'll look at other ways to style using display flex using code.org after this. I'm going to put gap is 20 pixels. This is how much space is in between these cards. And I'm going to put, AI is recommending 20 pixels padding too. That's space in a different direction. I forget exactly the difference between gap and padding right now, honestly, but it's fine. And that'll be my card container, I guess. So it's going to space out my cards in a grid in columns that are defined. And then I also need to define what my card should do. My card itself needs to space the title and the other parts as nicely as possible. So I'm going to start with display flex. Display flex, and I'll set a background. I am filming something for students right now. Do you need something immediately?
No, I was just going to ask because I came in late.
I did the store today, but I'm filming something right now. This is all going to be, my students are going to watch this 100 times over, so I got to get back to this. Okay, background, gray.
I'm going to let kids practice if you missed yesterday, if they show up.
Okay. background gray. And then for the card, we also need, I'm filming a lesson right now, I'm just so you know. I'll edit that out. Okay, background white. So we'll also do a border radius. And then we'll do some, oops, AI getting overexcited there. Border radius 10 px. We have to define, so px means how many pixels. So this will have a 10 pixel border around it. No, this shaves off 10 pixels from the corner is border radius. This makes it so it has a rounded corner. Padding 20 px. Box shadow, this is just aesthetic. So box shadow is basically going to put a little shadow around the box, which will look nice. And each of these defines a different property. You can go on W3 Schools if you want to look up specifically what each of these numbers does. This is the color, RGBA. 0, 0, 0, 0.2. Alright, so box shadow, that'll create a shadow around our thing. And let's do flex direction column. Oops, why does it keep doing that? Silly AI. Flex direction column. That'll make it so that we have nice columns of things. So everything will be from top to bottom instead of right now where it's like going from left to right. It'll be from top to bottom on the card. So column is important. It makes things into columns. And we will overflow
Mr.
hidden.
Hello.
And we will test that.
Practice today. Okay. Is Jin here? Okay, finally.
And we will test that. Okay. So let's hit refresh. And this is what we're looking at now. So there's a few things I want to do differently. I want to center things. So on the card, I want to center things. So I think that's justify content center. And it didn't work. Align content center. And we want to text align center. There we go. Okay, that is how I wanted it to look. Perfect. Okay, now I need to get the pictures fixed, and then these will be my cards, and I can keep adding more cards. So I think I want to increase the size of this heading. So that's an H3. So I will do, H3. And I'm just going to make some small edits here. But that's the rough idea for the lesson. Color is, let's say, I want something dark, but not black. I'll use that, chocolate. And then font size will increase to 30. And let's look at how that looks for a title. That's fine. I will get an image in, and then I will make the other cards. So let's fix these images in a second, but I'm just going to copy these cards, and I'm going to make a few more. I'm going to save that. I'm going to refresh. Oh, okay, so they're all in a row. I want them to line up one under the other in columns. Okay, which does happen when the screen is smaller. Okay, this looks good. I want to, okay, once I add images, I think that these will get bigger, and then we'll go from there. Okay. I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to add images to all of these, and then I will link I'll put a screenshot of the final version in the comments of this video or on the assignment. But that's it. So these cards is the next assignment to create, is div cards. Sorry for the little interruptions. This video is still under 15 minutes, so it's fine. Alright, I'm going to show us one more property that I'm going to add before I do my edits. But we're going to add one more property. We're going to do dot card. So this will only affect the cards. And we're going to do dot dot. And we're going to add a hover property. So this will be a CSS property that's only active while our mouse is over it. And I'm going to write transform. Transform will move it. did I spell it right? Transform, and we're going to translate y by -10 pixels. -10 pixels. There we go. And then we'll give it a shadow. Perfect. The AI autofilled me. I'll take it. And now when I hover over my cards, oh, whoops. And now when I hover over my cards, they wiggle around. I'm going to do a full edit of this page. I'm going to make it look really nice. I'm going to change all the colors. And then I will cut the video back on. Alright, and just to finish up, I'm just adding my pictures in. I just cleaned everything up. So let's add Call of Duty. And I'm just grabbing pictures and I'm right clicking them and I'm saving image as, and I'm doing COD, and it's saving it as JPEG. That's the file format I'm using. COD.jpg. I'm going to grab Pokemon and GTA and then I should be done. Pokemon. And let me just check my website to make sure that's working. So if I check Luke's favorite things and I press refresh, all these games are on. I need Pokemon, GTA, and Skyrim. So Pokemon, right click, save image as, let's name it Pokemon.jpg. I'm making sure it's in my first website files. I need GTA, save image as, GTA, and I need Skyrim. And I'm saving it as, save image as, I'm saving it as Skyrim.jpg, save, Skyrim.jpg. If I look at my code, I'm looking for Skyrim.jpg. If I look at my website, I could double check each of these worked as I added it by going to my website and hitting refresh. And now I have a beautiful website. I could hover these, they look great. These are called div cards. Now this looks closer to an actual website. I can go home, and my other pages are not set up nicely yet, but you guys can continue by setting up your other pages with div cards if you want to. And then we're going to do some code.org assignments looking at different ways to organize and align these div cards on the screen. Oh yeah, and as I resize, these div cards automatically resize to fit my screen nicer. That is the end of lesson 6 that I'm teaching in this class. Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much. Always reach out if you need help.